and a happy Friday to everybody. Oh my God, I'm so happy that it's Friday. Oh, hello, welcome to a fabulous stream called Magnificent Mythologies. Today, we are going to be chatting with the fabulous Lex, also known as Call Me They. We are going to be talking about what today, Lex? What's the thing?
Oh, Anansi, the spider.
Ooh. Ooh, that's going to be delightful. Hey, Lex, why don't you tell everybody out there where they can find you all around the intranets?
Oh, you can find me at Call Me They on Twitter. I'm working on getting the same name for my YouTube channel, but not yet. I'm gonna pay someone. I'll do it.
Yep.
I'll fist fight someone in a Denny's parking lot for the name. Yeah, I make 5th edition D&D content. Actually, funnily enough, one of the things I was going to make was a supplemental guide that was going to be based on Anansi, but then COVID hit, and I released all the stuff in it for free just because I wanted people to have something to do, thinking it would take less than a year.
Lies. It's lies.
Yeah.
You told yourself lies.
I did do that. Silly me.
It's okay. It's okay. We forgive you for that. And let's see if we can't rectify some of that today. So before we get started, let me just say we've got a bunch of fabulous sponsors today. First of all, Gemmed Firefly, I want to shout out. Matt, who owns Gemmed Firefly, has actually been here twice now, being delightful and telling us stories about multiple cultures. But he also owns Gemmed Firefly. And Gemmed Firefly is the official merch store for the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming. Yay! So if you would like to grab some merch to help support the foundation, to help support us continue these mythology streams, to pay for art and layout and stuff like that for creators of color and LGBT plus creators, then grab a fabulous t-shirt. They are super soft, super comfy. We also now have mugs. So I'm very excited. And soon we'll probably have some other really cool merch. So just be on the lookout for that. And I just popped it into the chat. If you'd like to go right now, go check out their website. It's got a million fabulous things.
I'll do that later.
Yeah, do it. That's right. It's a direct call to action. Do it. You're uncool if you don't do it, says the guy with the weird glasses. I also want to shout out today Phoenix Dice. Oh, so you think you're uncool now too? Everyone here is a nerd.
As it should be.
Yeah, absolutely, because we run the world now. Oh, everything wrong with the world right now is a corrupted nerd working out their fucking trauma on the rest of us. So
that's about right.
But Phoenix Dice! If you would like fabulous dice, you can enter our giveaway by putting in !raffle to get some fabulous Phoenix Dice today! We love their dice because they are made of recycled materials. Because they love the world we live in just as much as all the worlds we play in. That's right. And with no further ado, let's talk about Anansi, shall we? Why don't you tell me a little about Anansi history?
So, I first got introduced to Anansi, funnily enough, on Static Shock. You know,
remember, I remember that cartoon. I sure do.
Yeah, there was an episode or like a couple of episodes where the main character, who black, if you didn't know, ends up going on like a trip to Africa. And he's also a superhero, and he ends up meeting an African superhero named Anansi, whose powers and story was based on Anansi the spider. I went, yo, that's dope. What is that? And then I went down the rabbit hole, and that's when I first started exploring African cultures and also Caribbean cultures, because, you know, all ended up over there for reasons. Looks directly at the camera. And it was interesting for me because I am half black, half white. I mean, not exactly, but close enough. But I was raised by my white family, so there's a lot of my cultures from my mom's side of the family that I just never got to explore. I never heard the stories growing up. I never got to read any of them. And then I found a story about a storyteller, and that just like my mind, and I was fascinated immediately. And also, so he's a trickster and a storyteller, and those are some of my two favorite things.
Absolutely.
At least one of those is something I aspire to be every day. The storyteller bit.
I aspire to be a trickster, so so we're great. This is great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where my interest in Anansi started, and it's sometimes a little hard to find stories of Anansi because it's traditionally by mouth, word of mouth. So sometimes I'm like, are the stories that I'm reading anywhere close to the stories that people tell? You know?
Yeah.
But best I can do is spend way too much time on Google.
That's right. There is, I mean, Google, it was such a game changer. And I am of the generation where, like, I actually had, like, the Encyclopedia Britannica, like the full set. And every year you would call Encyclopedia Britannica, and you would have them deliver like that year's addendum to the encyclopedia that you had. And it literally, and it was gorgeous. I mean, it was like red leather bound, and anything you wanted to know, if it wasn't in Encyclopedia Britannica, it like you weren't sure where the information might lie. You know, there's and you know, if you wanted to know something about your neighbors, you know, you would go and talk to them. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that the ease with which one can now gain access to information. So absolutely, yes. I think that Anansi might have had a role in the creation of the internet. I think it's a fabulous gift that definitely like can be turned to phenomenal amounts of trickery and deceit. So yes. So where do we know where Anansi, like what, tell me like what intrigued you the most about Anansi in general?
I mean, it was, so I think Static Shock was the first black superhero I saw, and then Anansi was another one. I'm like, I have more than one? I get more than one?
Well, then there's all the superheroes that where it's just so cringy how there's just so many superheroes with the name Black in their name. Like I like, and not even all of them are black. Like it's just, but it's like Black Lightning, like was, you know, which is supposed to be Static Shock's mentor, you know.
Sometimes.
Black Panther, like I'm
Black
down.
Lightning existed a long time before Static Shock.
Yeah.
Damn, am I about to go comic history? All right. Yeah, Black Lightning is a DC, and then Static Shock was its own thing. What is it?
like Image. Was it Image Comics?
I can't remember the name of the comics, but they got bought by DC.
Yeah.
Then they got put together.
Well, it's the same thing with like Neil Gaiman and all of the Endless. Was they were their own thing, and then DC like essentially bought them out.
Yeah.
So now the Endless are part of the DC universe, which pisses me off because the Endless they would fit so much better in Marvel. Like just so much better in freaking Marvel. I want to see, because I want to see Death and Death go head to head. Like that's what I want. Like, anyway, yes, randomness. So
yeah. Yeah.
So tell me a little about like what the sort of the general vibe of Anansi is like throughout the stories.
So generally he's clever, or at the very least his wife is clever and he takes credit. That happens often. In several of his stories, he talks to his wife and goes, "What do you think I should do?" She gives him an idea and he goes, "Great, I'm the trickster here. Thanks for the idea, babe," and runs off.
Nice. Good. Just
to clarify, Anansi isn't the good guy often.
No. He is at best an anti-hero. At best. And sometimes is actively the villain.
Yes. There are more than once he is actively the bad guy. Which is just great,
Yeah, it's delightful. It's super fun. I love it.
But yeah, ultimately his story is about him being smart, or taking credit, and outsmarting someone more powerful, or at the very least just outsmarting someone. That's the general vibe. Just a bard or a rogue having a good time.
Absolutely. I'm 100% here for it. There is So yes. So why don't you tell me a little about the story that we're going to be telling today?
All right. The first story of Anansi that I heard was a story of how he became I don't think he's a god technically, but he's like,
isn't he one of the Orisha?
I've never been sure if he technically qualifies as a deity.
Yeah.
But he is like in charge of stories.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So from the story that I understand, it's there was the god of a sky god. Boy, the names are escaping me. It's like Niame, something like that. But there's a sky god who had all the stories, every story ever. Just like, went, these are mine, you can't have them, go away. But Anansi went, hey, stories are cool, can I have some? And the god went, no. And Anansi said, I can pay for it. Sky God said, people have been offering to pay for it forever. You're just like some spider. How could you pay for it? He's like, try me. So the Sky God said, all right, fine. You gotta go capture like 4 dangerous creatures, and then you can have the stories. And then Anansi just went,
nice.
Bet. So he had to capture a python, a leopard, a swarm of hornets, and a fairy.
A fairy?
Is
this a traditional like because my imagining of a fairy is a very Celtic fairy, and I imagine that an African fairy is like a different.
I'm sure it's super different. I've yet to look into African fae. I'm sure they're their own wild thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to look into it. It's on my list of things to look into.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where it is just the environment around those cultures was so vastly different than like the verdant hills of Ireland, where the worst thing you had to deal with was maybe like, a boar.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's all these There's all these tales of like these boar hunts where things go awry, all over Europe. And then in Africa, it's just straight up like there's monsters in the water. There's monsters all over the land. Like there's everything will eat you or stampede you or or just bite you or just look at you and you'll die. Like so yeah.
Anansi started with his list. He started with the python.
Good.
Which, going back to sometimes his wife's idea, not his. He was like, my dear wife, how do you think I should capture this python? And she's like, what you need to do is get a really big stick. And he went, no, say no more. I understand. So Anansi pulls up with like just a long like palm branch, I think it was, and he pretends to have an argument with his wife, and he's like, hey, there's no way this snake is as long as this branch. There's absolutely no way the snake could be that long. And this python pulls up and goes, yo, I bet you I'm still longer than this branch. And Anansi's like, I don't think you are. I really don't think you are. And Python goes, you know what? Let's check it out. The Python like straightens out as much as he can next to the branch. And Anansi goes, you're like innately squiggly or whatever, so you're not exactly like full length. So like I could like tie you to the branch to make sure that you're fully stretched out.
Oh my god.
And the python's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
That's good.
So Anansi tied him to the branch and went, bet. Now I'm gonna bring you to the sky god who wanted me to capture you.
Yeah.
And the whole way he's just mocking the python, calling him a dumb stupid idiot.
So he's just being an asshole. Like,
yeah, he's
straight
an
up.
Fully, yeah. I love it. So yeah, he's got a python tied to a branch, drags it to Sky God. Sky God goes, oh, you got one. Huh. I mean, you still don't get the other three, though. Like, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And then Anansi's like, yeah, okay. And then he went to catch the hornets. He's like, wife, my beautiful, intelligent wife, how should I catch some hornets? And she's like, well, first you're gonna need a gourd full of water. And he said, say no more, I understand what you're saying. So he found like a nest of hornets and started like throwing water in the direction. And they're like, yo, dude, why are you spraying us with water? And he's like, oh, I didn't do that. It's just been raining. Rain is pretty dangerous for hornets. You want to you can hide in this gourd to stay away from the rain.
Oh my god.
And hornets went, oh, that is so kind and thoughtful. Thank you, Anansi. You're our best friend. So they flew in the gourd. Then he stopped the gourd and went, ha, you dumb, stupid idiots. I'm going to drag you to the Sky God. And he mocked them the whole way there. Sky God goes, huh, all right, you're halfway done. Still not going to get the other two. Uh-huh. So he went to go capture a leopard. The leopard, that one was just more straightforward. He just dug a ditch. Because the leopard was apparently a known alcoholic.
I'm sorry, what? I love this. The leopard was absolutely your alcoholic Aunt Karen. Like, they drinking too much fucking wine.
And so Anansi, if I remember, he just dug a hole in front of the leopard's house or something, and just knew the leopard following over the night. Anansi pulls up the next morning, is like, hey, friend, fall in a hole? Yeah, bud. Were you drinking again? No. I can help you out. And Anansi put down 2 sticks to try and make a makeshift ladder, and then on the way up, Anansi just pulled out a dagger and threw it at this leopard's head, but the handle first and knock the leopard out.
Like not like just no subtlety. Just he's got no chill. He got no chill in this one.
So
Okay.
he climbed to the ditch, tied up the leopard, dragged the leopard out, and went, "You dumb, stupid idiot."
Oh my god. I feel like the leopard at some point would say something like, "It's not alcoholic wine with vodka in it. Wait, it's fine."
And then, once again, for the third time in a row, Sky God's like, "Oh, you did it again.
Yeah.
You bet you won't get the fairy, though."
Yeah, that's right.
Because
this is the rough one.
Yeah. So he goes, "My beautiful, intelligent wife, who should get the credit for all of this, but isn't. How should I catch a fairy?" And she's like, "Hey, you gotta get a doll and cover it in gum." He's like, "Say no more. I understand." So he goes to a type of tree that is known for where fairies hang out.
Everyone knows the fairy tree.
Yeah, the fairy tree. And he got a doll. It's a specific type of doll. So many of these specific names are escaping me. All the python and leopard, they all had names. I just can't remember them. Yeah. And so he put the doll covered in gum, then put the fairy's favorite food in front of it, and tied a string to it, the doll, and hid in a bush or something. And then a fairy went down and went, "Hey, Mr. Doll, can I have this food?" He tugged on the string so the doll would nod. And she went, "Cool, free food." Ate the food and went, "Thanks, I really appreciate the food." And then Anansi didn't make it nod as a "you're welcome," and the fairy went, "How rude," and slapped the doll.
Mm-hmm.
And so her hand got stuck. And she called out to the fairies and was like, "Hey, my hand's stuck to this guy. What do I do?" And they said, "Have you tried slapping him with your other hand?"
Oh my god. So fairies were not super bright.
Apparently not.
In Africa. It's okay.
Apparently.
Good to know.
And so both hands got stuck. And she's like, "Well, now both my hands are stuck." They're like, "Just do a full body tackle. I'm sure that'll work out." It didn't. So now she's stuck to this doll, and Nancy grabs her while she's stuck and goes, I think it's her. I don't remember. Gender's fake. And Nancy goes, "Ha, you dumb, stupid idiot. I'm selling you for stories." And
I am selling you for stories.
And then for the fourth time, just another person curse you, Anansi, in this inevitable betrayal. So Anansi pulls up with the fourth thing, but on his way there, he remembers the Sky God just went, "Also, there's a fifth thing I'm gonna need. You're gonna need to give me your mom."
Your mom.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
And Anansi, with the fairy in tow, went to his mom and was like, "Hey mom, listen, I got all the things he wants. He just wants me to bring you." And she went, "You know what? I'm in." So he brings the fairy and his mother there. The Sky God goes, "He did it." What? How? He did it. I guess you can have all the stories now. And that's how Anansi became the guardian of stories.
Oh my god.
I love Anansi.
Yeah, no, that's fabulous. No, I'm 100% here for a delightful story about the stories. There is so what I'm thinking right now, as far as that story goes, is we can absolutely create something where there's a bunch of fetch quests.
Mm-hmm.
There is, but we would need to, we'd need to find a way to, first of all, I think it's going to be imperative that like the adventurers do not murder the things that they're supposed to bring.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So it has to be, it can't be, hey, you can just go kill whatever you find and then bring a dead thing back here. I'm thinking, all right, so in the story, do you want this to be a situation where you have got where you've got like actually Anansi going to the sky god, or do you want to make sort of an allegory of that?
I mean, the first thing that came to mind is Anansi comes to adventurers and goes, "Hey, I need you to get these things for me." And then once they get it for Anansi, he goes, "Cool, bye."
Bye.
And just leave the players, with nothing. Just the knowledge that they got bested by just a tiny little guy.
Okay, so there is I feel like we would need some sort of, we can figure it out later, but there would need to be some sort of reward.
I know.
Or else the players are just gonna be real pissed off. But
that's the first thing that came to mind.
So what I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to head over to our little template over here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking is if Anansi poses as, because he's sort of a master of illusions as well, there is if he poses as like a royal, like duke or something like that needs the adventurers to go on some sort of quest. And with I'm a big fan of giving the players hints that they will not pay attention to, so that when the payoff happens, they're like, "Oh shit, I should have seen this coming." It's like you should have. Yes. There's so what I'm thinking at this point is if they get sent on the adventure and Anansi has his hut with his wife, but it looks like a gorgeous castle when they go in. And Anansi takes them to a room that is locked, barred room with a lock, and that's filled with treasure. And it's everything you see before you shall be yours, or everything that lies before you, I feel would be how Anansi would phrase it. Everything that lies before you is yours if you accomplish these tasks as I set them forth, and so they can't reach the treasure or anything like that. And then of course at the end of it, the treasure's going to disappear, and there'll be one thing in there or something like a couple of coins.
And of course the story. Just the tale of Anansi in there, obviously.
Absolutely. You get all that information. I also think there might be, because Anansi was a little bit of a whore, wasn't he?
So I don't particularly know the marriage practices or the culture around romance and stuff there where he's from. So for all I know, totally normal. But there's a story of him. I think this was once again the same sky god, and he went, "Hey, buddy, you have a really nice sheep. Can I eat it?" And he went, "Yeah, okay. But in return, bring me a wife from the village, or a woman from your village or something like that." But instead of eating the sheep, Anansi went, "Cool." Took the sheep, found a village of only women, gave each of them a piece of the sheep, and then married all of them.
Yeah, as you do. Sometimes you marry a whole village.
I know nothing of actual marriage practices with that. So for all I know, totally fine in their culture.
Sure. There's so I love that. Um, so what I'm thinking is maybe the reason I'm asking is because I'm thinking maybe there is a sorcerer subclass in all this that focuses on illusions
I actually
as a
wrote
child of Anansi.
I wrote a bard subclass around Anansi.
Very nice.
I have it. It fully exists.
I love that. Well, if you want to, we can absolutely make that one of the rewards that Anansi gets. Like the lesson you learn is all the things you learn from watching Anansi. And then you can have this bard subclass. If you want to include it in there, that would be absolutely glorious.
Yeah,
my God, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the legal shenanigans because it was technically on DM's Guild. I don't know all the legal stuff with that.
Well, so what it means is that we can create this specifically for DM's Guild by making setting neutral. Okay. And so we can pop that on there.
Cool. Okay.
If that is where we're going to be. Realm Warp is a platinum seller on DM's Guild. Cool. So it'll be there and then on your page too. So there'll be multiple places.
Nice.
So yes. All right, cool. Let's get it started. So the first thing I think we should look at is what are they going to be trying to find? Because I don't necessarily want it to follow exactly the legend, right? Mm-hmm. But what are the things? Because I love the idea of tricking these animals. The issue is for me that if they don't have like speak with animals or something like that, then there's no way to communicate. So, what if there are a series of awakened animals masquerading as like people, and this is sort of a whole like Game of Thrones thing between like Anansi and 4 awakened animals who are all trying to take over this region.
Sure, yeah. That works.
Oh my God, this is gonna get insane.
Like rather than a literal snake, you be a snake guy with snake stuff.
Yeah, it could absolutely be, you know, like either a Yuan Ti or an actual, like I sort of, because it's an Anansi story, I sort of have this image in my mind of like a giant python, like
in a suit,
like in a robe, like pretending to be a person. Like,
yes, I am a man. I am a whole man.
Stop talking like that. Oh my God.
I am a full-grown adult human male with a mortgage and wife.
That's right, his castle has a mortgage on it. Like that's what they're all trying to do. They're all just trying to pay their mortgage. That's it. Oh my God. Okay, if we're gonna go in that direction, then there's what I would love is that Anansi is really just trying to, like, he doesn't even want it. He's just trying to screw everyone over.
Oh yeah,
right?
No, sure. That same story with like all of his wives. Eventually the Sky God comes and like kidnaps all of them, and in revenge he creates diseases.
Oh, that's fun. Oh my God.
So like he's kind of petty.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. Like, there are, and I understand that gods are created according to cultures, and a lot of times include, you know, human sensibilities, so that they can, because we like to anthropomorphize things. We want there to be a reason that the wind, like, you know, is nice sometimes and then rips down your house sometimes. There is. All right, so overall, so I feel like it is All right, so now what would be the point of kidnapping these people?
So we can gloat.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, you can kill them, but I'd rather they're alive specifically so we can gloat.
Well, I would say you absolutely have to bring them in alive.
No,
Like
that's
that'll be
valid, yeah.
It'll be a completely, because I want to keep the heart of the story in there, you know. So you have to bring them in alive. What if there is you've got these four rulers that are all fighting over the same region, because what we can do, we can set it in a desert, and the reason that they are fighting over this region is because it has the oasis in it.
Yeah, that works.
So it's the only fertile land in like within hundreds of miles. And
which we can use an oasis as like what's the word? Easter egg to another Anansi story, technically.
Nice. Well, you might have to come back and we'll do the second adventure.
No, this one's like way shorter and simpler. It's literally just Anansi. He was the guardian of all wisdom, but he didn't want to share it, so he put it all like in a jar in a tree. And his son was like, "Hey, can I look at all your cool wisdom?" No. Oh, okay. Then he looked at it anyway, and just like spilled all the wisdom into the ocean, and it went everywhere.
Oh my God.
And that's where wisdom came from.
Good. Well, thank God for children. Oh my God. Anansi is not coming out looking great.
No, and that's fine. I love it.
He doesn't. No, cheers. All right, so we've got a reason. So let's do an intro. So we've got Anansi the spider has set his sights on the kingdom of, what shall it be called?
Oh, good question. Oh, damn.
Naming shit is always the worst part.
I mean, I could make up just cool fantasy sounding thing, but also I'm kind of like, I want to kind of make it something related to the culture it's from, but this whole thing is about me trying to explore it because I don't know enough. Dang.
Let's see. What is the kingdom of Dune? Like, let's for now call it the Dune Sea.
Sure, that works.
It is, the kingdom of. Or wait, what is, if we're doing DM's Guild, deserts in Faerun?
That works, yeah.
What is?
Oh, and Anansi also has other names, so we could use one of his other names for.
Ooh, I love it. Let's see, the Burning Lands. The High Desert, the House of Tesca, the Weeping Desert, the Dune, the Sea of Salt, Koya Desert. I like the Sea of Salt. I feel like that's
sounds cool.
Let me look at this and see if it's not like super problematic for some reason. It's just east of the Genie's Garden.
Yeah, placeholder name at least. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
sure we can come up with an actual name of our own making if we get a minute.
Yes. Okay, so we've got that.
Oh, we can name it after the sky god, which I'm pretty sure I did. It is Niame.
Niame. All right,
if
fabulous.
I'm saying
Well,
that
thank you
right,
for the
probably
follow. No, Nyla. There is, yes. Kalbari Heights. The spider is Anansi. There we go. Okay, so we will do the Sea of Salt as a placeholder name. We'll come back to it. Anansi the spider set his sights on the kingdom of Salt, or the Sea of Salt, which is currently it could be, in order to give him a little more credibility.
Okay.
It's a civil war.
Okay.
Currently between the four different princes. There is Sights on the Kingdom of Salt, which is currently in the midst of a civil war. The four princes of the realm, are all competing to take control of the only fertile land in the region, which is centered on a beautiful oasis. All right, cool. So we've got that. All right, centered on the oasis. And there's okay, so each of them is a different animal, and their father is the one who awakens them, is like a super powerful druid. All right.
Okay.
There's and the druid is like, he believes in neutrality. He understands that nature is all about, sometimes it's violent, sometimes it's peaceful, and if this is how his children need to deal with whatever they're doing, then this is how they're going to deal with it. So Anansi is just annoyed at the fact that, oh my God, it could absolutely be that he needs to get his wisdom back.
Oh yeah, that works.
And it's in the oasis.
Okay,
he absolutely has, and it's in the oasis. But they're constantly fighting wars, so we can't actually get to the oasis. Okay. Let's see, which is currently in the midst of civil war. Okay, so it's not that. So the spider has hidden his wisdom in the kingdom of in the Sea of Salt, which is currently in the midst of a civil war. The four princes, which is centered on a beautiful oasis.
Yeah, that works.
The
I dig that.
oasis is the hiding place of the wisdom, but Anansi can't get to it until the war has ended. Okay, so now we have a reason that he needs to do these things. So, all right, so I would say that the way we can set up this adventure is chapter 1 will be grabbing two of the princes.
Okay.
Make this one a little easier. Maybe those two princes are meeting already or something like that. Make this a little more open so that there is a chance for whoever is playing this to the players to get to know each other, to do a little bit of traveling, a little bit of diplomacy, all that kind of stuff. But you can grab two of them at the same time. And then at the end in chapter 3, in chapter 2, they go after two additional people, And then in chapter 3, the whole chapter is essentially them ransoming the princes back to the Druid. And I love, I'm a big fan of having like a secret ending where like if you do just the bare minimum, you can still win the scenario, you get, you know, whatever you get. But then if you do everything beautifully, then you get like some sort of extra fabulous thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
There, all right, so how do we feel about all that?
That sounds fun. The one thing that might be weird is that so in the, like I mentioned in the original story, it's 3 animals and a fairy.
Yeah.
So it's a question of whether or not we want to have like still 3 animals and a fairy, or turn the fairy into something else, or
well, it could be 3 animals and a fae of some kind.
Okay.
You know, there would be so it sounds like the fairy is something akin to like a brownie, maybe, or like something like that, or we can create a new stat block for an animal, you know, or for a fae. I don't think that'll be a problem.
Stat blocks are fun.
Yeah, and we could absolutely. So it's a python, a jaguar, and a leopard. Leopard. And the hornets, and then
hornets.
the fae. So I feel oh my god, you could have so much fun with this. Oh my lord. Okay, so Python's easy enough, and I think I think in the first one we can meet the leopard and the python, and
definitely a thing you could use for the leopard is the fact that they're an alcoholic. You can maybe have like an optional things like drug the alcohol that they know is going to the leopard or something, something like that, you know.
Absolutely, 100%. Let me see. So we've got, if that's the case, so the python, I feel like the python and the hornets were the easiest ones. And then, okay, so let's do python and hornets in the first one. And then in the second one, you can do individual things, because then that'll give like the leopard more personality and, you know, the fairy more personality. All right, cool. So we've got in chapter 1, they meet Anansi, who explains what should Anansi be disguised as? Because they're always disguised.
Yeah, no, that tracks. I mean, also you could have Anansi show up throughout the adventure, disguised as something different every time.
Oh my god, yes! It's just continually fucking with people. Just always.
That's fully doable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could just have him look like a guy, but his true form is like a giant spider or something.
Right?
Yeah. Some Shelob looking.
Well, in this scenario, it might make sense that he is a giant spider to start, and then he'll appear as a person randomly, you know, throughout the story, with little sort of hints as to the fact that it's Anansi. What does his wife look like?
As far as I know, his wife is just another spider. Though the story of when he had all the multiple wives,
they were all people.
Yeah, they were all, from what I understand. Also, sometimes Anansi is just a guy, but like with spider-like qualities.
Yeah. Oh my god! What? Okay, so in nature, female spiders tend to be much larger than male spiders. What if the spider that they meet is the wife, who doesn't really like? And how Anansi? I feel like this totally fits in, where Anansi keeps stealing his wife's ideas. So Anansi is just like a tiny little spider, like on the back of his wife, who is like talking to the adventurers. And then Anansi can come with them. Like they don't see him. He's just always a spider, a little spider somewhere in the room, like just screwing with people. There's a like, yes.
Works.
Yes. All right, cool.
And the
So,
key point of the adventure where like maybe like a random illusion spell goes off that may help or hinder the adventurers because Anansi's just
absolutely. Oh my god. We could absolutely have a mechanic throughout where there is like if you do like a crit fail on like any of your rolls, then we can have a specific Anansi like wild magic table as Anansi like wanders around. So you just and nothing major, but maybe like just like a D10, like 10 items on that list that just might go off, if you hit, or because it's Anansi, it might just be like some random thing where it's like, if you roll like an 11 or a 13 instead of like critting anything, just that would make me so happy. Yes. Okay, fabulous. All right, so meet Anansi. All right, so you meet Anansi. Appearance of a giant spider, but the giant spider is Anansi's wife. Anansi is actually a small spider on his wife's back.
Just a little guy.
Yeah. Anansi, who explains that he is the rightful heir to this kingdom. Long before. All right, so I feel like they're going to need a speech. Let's see. DM reads. Let's say, long before these usurpers were awakened by the what's the sky god's name?
Nyame? Yeah, Nyame. I could be saying it horribly wrong.
Nyame. All right. Long before these usurpers were awakened by Nyame the Druid, long before these usurpers were awakened by Nyame the Druid, the oasis belonged to me. They have trampled my beautiful flowers and shed blood all over my sacred wells.
By the way, the wife's name is Aso.
Aso. Okay.
Once again, could be pronouncing all of this wrong. We will for sure have to do a pronunciation guide with the DM.
Absolutely.
Just in case.
Let's see. Long before these usurpers were awakened by Nyame the Druid, the oasis belonged to me. They have trampled my beautiful flowers and shed blood all over my sacred wells. Because I am kind of heart and generous of spirit, I do not want them dead, only captured.
Because all kind people and generous people announce their kindness and generosity.
Absolutely, they do. 100%.
That's
No
how
one
it
who has
works.
ever told me I'm so kind has ever turned out to be a monster.
And as bonus, I'm just really humble.
So humble. Holy crap. I do not want them dead, only captured, so that I may return them to their druidic forebear.
What if this whole thing is he made the deal with the druid if I can capture and defeat your sons?
Oh yes! Oh my God! Then you can have your oasis back. I love it. Perfect. Okay. So where 4 princes now are competing to take control of the only fertile land in the region, which is centered on a beautiful oasis, is the hiding place of hidden
his of wisdom and tales.
His wisdom, but Anansi can't get to it until the war has ended. Okay, so there's that part of it. Let's see. So it would be Niame has told Anansi that he may have control of the kingdom if he can capture and deliver Niame's 4 awakened. Niame's 4, let's call them children.
Yeah, that works.
Can have control of the kingdom if he can capture and deliver Niame's 4 children. So Anansi doesn't want anything. So I'd love if the prize at the end, for a perfect ending, is you get Anansi's castle, right? And then it turns out to be just a fucking hut.
Yeah,
in the middle of the desert.
The cardboard cutout falls away.
Absolutely. There's I would love it if it's something like Anansi's magic. If it's it's literally made of sand. It looks like it's made of sandstone. But really it's just made of sand, and when Anansi leaves, the sand literally just blows away.
Yeah, that works.
All right, let's see. So long before these usurpers were awakened by Niame the druid, the oasis belonged to me. They have trampled my beautiful flowers and shed blood all over my sacred wells. Because I am kind of heart and generous of spirit, I do not want them dead, only captured, so that I may return them to their druidic forebear. Leaving the oasis once again available to all who travel this thirsty land without fear of stumbling upon a pitched battle. Yeah. I feel like that's good.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, I dig that. I love this. I love this.
Oh, we're gonna ruin some adventures. Yeah.
Oh, no, they're gonna be so people are gonna be so mad at some point.
They are, and I'm so happy about it. All right, so they meet Anansi.
Mhm.
Let's see. So then Anansi will send them to the castle of what do we say? The Python and the Hornets.
Yeah, that works,
So
yeah.
I feel like they can be having some sort of, between the two of them, they're colluding
Mhm.
to join forces to like take out
Mhm.
some of the other people, and Anansi's got to stop this because then they'll become too powerful and he won't be able to do shit. So
Yeah.
all right, Anansi will send them to the castle of the Python. Castle of, their name will just be Python for now. So Python.
The Python's original name is Onini, I think. Onini.
Okay. Of the Python Onini. So the Python Onini. This castle. And I feel like we can absolutely do a thing where it's like, it's north, south, east, and west.
Sure.
Fighting, that makes it easy. This castle is to the south of the oasis.
Definitely this Python. What level should this adventure be for?
What do we want? So I feel like the rewards should be, if you just make it, if you get the basics of this, like if you just get rid of the 4 other people, however that is, including murdering them, which is great. There is it will I want the rewards to be something like you get a +1, like each member of the party gets a +1 to their wisdom. And they get the treasure trove of Anansi, and what that is maybe like 1 gold per person. And then like 1 like sort of uncommon item that was like hidden behind a box and Anansi forgot to take with him.
Plenty of spell scrolls could work easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there's like a couple of illusionary spell scrolls. If they like manage to actually capture all of the people and deliver them to Niame, then it would be like a +2 to everybody's wisdom, and Niame will reward them with some cool druidic item.
That works,
and then they'll also get the 1 gold a piece and a couple of crappy scrolls. So in that situation, I want to say nothing crazy, because if they're actually going to battle, like if it's against like a giant python, that's like what, like a CR 1/2 or something, or a CR 1. And the same thing with everyone else. Like there's not going to be more than like a CR 1 creature. So I think this could be a pretty low level, like some like with like 2 to 3, like level 2 to 3.
That works,
and then that way, if you do this like early on in your career, you could get like a fabulous wisdom boost. There is, and maybe a cool item. I'm thinking like Staff of the Woodlands, or something like that. There's, and maybe like a jug of endless water. From the Oasis. There's okay.
Sorry, I just remembered the thing with catching the hornets in a gorge. So I just imagine a jug of endless hornets.
Oh my god, we have to make that. Yes. Oh my god. Okay, that's a magic item that we absolutely could create. There is, like, you'll give the jug you'll give the jug back, and like there'll still be like a queen hornet in there. And so once a day you can release a stream of hornets out. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the Prime subscription, Nonila. That is fabulous. Yay. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There is, all right, cool. So we have got.
Yeah, you could do something like small like that for each of the captured creatures too.
Ooh.
I don't know what you could do.
Oh, so it could be like Staff of the Python.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know. I love that decanter of endless hornets. There's there's for the jaguar. Oh, we could absolutely create like a, you know, the figurines. The figurines of wondrous power.
That works, yeah.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that for the jaguar. And then for the fairy, like some sort of like cute magic wand. Like I'm thinking like, you know, a wand of because they like illusions. So, you know, like a wand of like minor image or something like that.
I mean, so the traditional way that fairy was captured was like glue. So definitely not the sovereign glue, because that's that's glue that can only be undone with a wish. So not that.
Yeah.
But something to that effect could work.
It could be, I mean, you could do like a wand of web.
That works too. Yeah.
Or something like that, you know. There is, all right, cool. No, I love that. And then each one that you bring in, you get that item from the druid, who will admonish their children for starting a civil war. Bad civil war. All right. In this castle, Onini and the Hornets are meeting to discuss an alliance. And all right, who do we want Anansi to be in this situation?
Good question.
Well, first, like, as you travel, there is let's say they're in the middle of a civil war, so let's say 20% chance that the adventurers will stumble upon a random battle.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Also, if they camp at all, Anansi can just be random traveler at the campfire.
Doing what?
Random traveler at the campfire just shows up like.
Yes.
Maybe. Because the whole thing with story is every time they camp, Anansi shows up as like an old guy who shows up, just tells them a story.
Yeah, absolutely. If they camp during their travels, Anansi will appear in the disguise of a old man traveling through the land.
And I would love it when he shows up, even if it makes zero sense, he's just there.
Right. Just hanging out.
Yeah. It's like we're literally in prison. Why are you here? Oh, you know. You know.
It's fine. Like he always ends up like if they're in prison, like he's in the cell opposite them.
Yep.
You know, like there's just there all the time. Of an old man traveling through the land. There's we can include like a few Anansi stories like in the book if you want to send those to me, and then we can just have those so the DM will just have access to these stories.
Yeah. It doesn't even
That
have to
way.
be one Anansi stories either. It could just be stories about like maybe the different animals or something to give you hints that how to deal with them.
Oh yes, fabulous. I love it. All right. Okay, so we get to the castle with the python and the hornets. Who is Anansi disguised as here?
Good question. Could easily be a servant.
Okay.
To be like a random soldier who's weirdly like helpful.
There's okay, so let's give them, I think servant is best because they can go unseen.
Yeah.
Anansi has been traveling with the adventurers hidden in the folds of their clothes. He disguises himself as a servant. So let us see. So how do we want to capture the python, and how do we want to capture the hornets?
So let's see. Taking a cue from the original story, the python got tricked because they're like, you can't be that tall or that long.
Yeah.
I can't think of a way for that one to work out.
Oh, what if there is a Anansi can set up something so that it requires like the only one that can like set this up is the python. If the python wraps his tail around one end and his head around another end, so like maybe like it's a new, it could be this is the reason they're having an alliance is because Hornet has come up with a new war machine design, but there is, it needs to be like clamped shut, or something like that, and the only one that has the like in it. So in this case, it could be like that no one has the strength to do it from either side. The only one that has the strength to do it is Python. Would that work?
That's possible, yeah. Oh, by the way, the hornets are called the Maboro hornets. I've been looking up names the whole time.
Okay, fabulous. So there is travel. Not supposed to castle. The castle itself, the castle. In the castle, Anini and the what is it? How are you spelled?
Maboro. Hold on, let me find the name again.
Moborro.
Where is it? I'm great at this. Mmoboro.
MMO.
Yep.
BR. Okay, so one. Oh, that's very interesting. My correction thing actually has the right spelling of this.
Wild.
I'm like, okay. Is it like, I feel like it must be a place in Africa.
Probably. Yeah.
Like, that's just where the hornets happen to be from. Like, all right, and the Mboro hornets are meeting to discuss an alliance. All right, so Anansi has been traveling with adventures. He disguises himself as a servant. Let me see. Oh my god. All right, if it's a war machine, it could absolutely be a thing where like the python has to like help pull it all together. And there's a slot in there that like nobody can get into, so the hornets are the only ones that are small enough to get inside.
Specifically designed so only they could use it. Yeah.
And then they slam it shut behind them, and then the adventurers take this like crazy war machine back to Anansi, and he can get at the end of it, Anansi can have like it could be these 3 war machines. This would be the whole thing. The reason it has to stop now is because these things are going to destroy the oasis.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Anansi at the end of it has 3 giant war machines with which he can threaten
Perfect.
the
Yep.
druid. Okay. All right. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, please. Okay. Disguise himself as a servant. All right. There's. All right. The Python and the Hornets are both there to finish building a war machine. What is this thing? What is this? So when you're dealing with snakes and hornets, you're dealing with venom and poison.
Yeah. Lots of it, yeah.
So
that's gotta be a problem for this part.
Yeah, like there's let's
like if there are any guards, like they're all the weapons are like poison tipped or something. Like
yeah. We could absolutely have it that like once you've trapped them, then you have to battle the guards.
Yeah.
To get out, you know. And they've all got poison tipped. Yes, I love it. And that this thing, oh my god, this thing shoots like 100. It's a thing that will shoot 100 poison tipped arrows.
Perfect.
At once out onto the battlefield. Just, you know, like
they're just in there to reload it with their poison, obviously.
That's right. Are both there to finish building a war machine that can fire 100 poison tipped arrows at a time. All right. So there's always the option to kill the python and to kill the swarm of hornets. There is, so let's see, various solutions. The machine is spring loaded, but no one is powerful enough to actually pull the mechanism back. So Python is the only one who can make that happen. But once Python is inside, the machine will close, trapping him. Okay, so in that situation, then we need a reason that like the original thing isn't going to work. So maybe like the rope or the chain that they originally were going to use, the adventurers have to sabotage it. Well, what were you going to say?
Yeah, we have them sabotage it.
All right, fabulous.
And also just an easy thing you do. It's like, I don't think the thing's going to work, buddy. Of course it'll work. I'll show you now. It looks kind of silly to me.
I don't know, man. Let me see. All right, close trapping him. You may do this with a deception check to convince the python it won't work, forcing the python to prove that it will work by climbing inside.
Mhm.
Um,
And the random servant that's for sure not Anansi could be like, I think he sabotaged it.
there's let me see, you can sabotage the mechanism so that only Python can make it work. And I always like to have sort of three options for them. So we've got a check, we've got sabotage, and we've got, what would be the third thing here?
I mean, as we've mentioned, if all else fails, just kill him. But that's not. But that's obviously not the preferred option.
Yeah. It's, let's see, sabotage the mechanism so that only the Python can make it work. That'll be good. There's the loading mechanism is small enough that only the hornets can enter. So you can you can accidentally fire the weapon, so the hornets have to reload it, then trap them inside. You could do, I want to do a different check. You could do a persuasion check. You could do a persuasion check to...
Also, going off the story, the hornets were afraid of water, so I don't know if you can do anything with that. But make them afraid of, like, a fear of water.
Right.
To corral them where you want them to go or something, but...
we could say that that it's gonna rust. Like, and so it holds with the fear of water. But it could be that, like, Anansi, like, throws a big bucket of water that, like, trips and throws a big bucket, and so they have to get in there in order to make sure that it's not wet. Trying to convince them
They're very particular.
Right. There's them to check you could do a persuasion check to convince them that they need to inspect the loading mechanism. You could throw a bucket of water on it, leading, which will rust the mechanism. Leading the hornets to fly inside to make sure everything is okay. All right. Fabulous. So we've got those. Then Anansi, as the servant, will offer hints anytime.
I was gonna say it would make sense as a Nazi if the servant's like, "I'll give you hints if you get me blah blah blah," as like a little side thing.
Okay.
Give me
anytime
food from the banquet or whatever.
Yeah. Anytime. Let's see. Anansi as a servant will offer hints anytime the adventurers ask. but will require some sort of strange payment. Stealing like a lock of hair from a soldier, grabbing the prettiest fig from the table, etc. All right. All right, cool. And as you try to leave should we do battle in this one, or is this one just going to be traveling and trapping the people?
I mean, battling if things go horribly wrong.
Okay.
For sure.
As you try to leave the castle, if either the python or the hornets was killed, you will face a battle with the guards.
Yeah, that works.
Each guard, there will be one guard for each member of the party. Use a CR1 human stat block. The guards will all be equipped with poisoned weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so in chapter 1, you meet Anansi, get sent on the mission. You actually meet Anansi's wife. Get sent on the mission. There is a chance that you will stumble on a battle. They get sent to the castle of the Python in south. Python and Hornet are creating a war machine. You can trap them both inside the war machine in various ways, and then if you fuck up, then you have to battle guards to get the war machine out.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that works.
If you successfully trapped both Python and the Hornets, you may leave unmolested. All right, cool. So then chapter 2 is going to be a little more complicated. So, and we'll say the adventurers get the arrow thrower back to Anansi's castle without incident. All right.
Someone in
2.
chat mentioned just lots of hissing and buzzing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That was a while ago, but I just remembered it.
Oh my God. Yes, I love it. Makes me very happy. There is okay, we are at about an hour and a half in, so why don't we do this? Why don't we, before we start chapter 2, let's take a quick bio break. Hey, everybody in chat, thank you for being here with us. We will be back in just a few minutes. If you'd like to support more things like this from the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming, please feel free to donate to the foundation. You can do so with the link right there. You can, in fact, gain all kinds of fun, cute things with it. So look over that. Go and say hi to the Ko-fi. Say hi to the donations. And we will be back in just a moment. Hello again, and welcome back. I hope that you all had a lovely little break, just like we did. We are going to continue now with Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of this fabulous adventure. I feel like this would be an adventure that I would have so much fun DMing. Like, I think it would just be absolutely delightful. All right, so now the question is, do we want to make Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 one prince each? Or do we want to make Chapter 2 two princes and Chapter 3 something else?
That is a good question. I mean, my normal D&D instincts is big fight at the end, but this is all about trickery.
Mm-hmm.
But also maybe big fight at the end? I don't know.
Right? There is, well, it could be if there is a civil war. It could be that the fight at the end is a mob fight.
Okay.
Where you use the war machines that you've gained to actually destroy the enemy. Right?
Perfect, yeah.
And like your job as these lower level characters is to protect the machines while the machines destroy the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that works, yeah.
Something like that, you know, if you want to do that. All right, cool. So then, and that way, like the animals that are trapped inside essentially will help power the machines.
Perfect.
And they won't die in the process. They'll be safe inside, because I feel like the enemy wouldn't want to destroy the machines, they would want to take the machines.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then in Chapter 2, we're going to meet the drunken leopard and the stupid fairy. Right. All right, so Chapter 2. Let's start with, I sort of want the leopard to be last. Same. Because I feel like that's going to be the most fun character. That it all sort of leads up to that. So Anansi will send the adventurers to the castle of the fairy. Which is in the western portion of the country. Let's say, all right, there is, all right, so the fairy gets stuck to something. I
just glue on the controls.
Right? Like, it's so dumb, and I love it so much. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
All right, which is the western portion of the country. He will supply the adventurers with a pot of powerful glue. Let's see. All right, so what is the war machine of the fairy? So you've got one that is firing a bunch of poison-tipped arrows.
Yeah. The story involves her being in a tree. She gets tricked by a doll.
It could it could be a thing that grows blights to fight for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
There is okay, cool. So it'll be like, it just like every round it creates another tree blight. Then wanders off and starts murdering people. All right, good. Powerful pot of glue. He will let the adventurers know that the fairy's magic must be powering the machine for it to work. Okay, so
Yeah.
all right, so let's go back to the intro. And okay, so there's a civil war. They're all planning on taking control of the region.
Mm-hmm.
That he may have control of the kingdom if he can capture and deliver Niame's 4 children. The children are constructing powerful war machines that will destroy the oasis if used. Anansi wants to steal these machines to stop that from happening. Okay. Cool. All right, so we've got that. All right, so the fairy's magic must be powering the machine to work. That means the fairy must be in physical contact with the machine. Okay, so who does Anansi show up as here?
Going back to the doll thing, could be like a little kid with like a toy.
Absolutely. Oh my god. All right, so the machine. In the fairy's castle. Oh my god, can't spell. In the fairy's castle, Anansi will appear as a child with a fabulous doll.
What if the hint is the kid wants his toy back? It's somewhere else. Kid wants his toy back.
Oh yes, as a child. Will appear as a child. The child will give you hints about how to accomplish your goals, but you must retrieve their doll. Which is, yeah, like cute little side quest. Where is the doll? Oh, should be stuck in a tree?
Could be. Yeah. Oh, that works. Yeah.
It's all right. Feel like that fits. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she must retrieve their doll. It
maybe
is
the tree's a tree ant,
stuck
or whatever.
In a tree ant. And I'm just gonna leave that to the DM's imagination. Like, you can talk to the tree ant, or you can like somehow climb the tree ant without it knowing, or you can just murder the tree ant, which isn't great.
Yeah, whichever works.
It's fine. Okay, then in order, so let's see. This war machine will create tree blights out of any local wildlife that will fight on behalf of the machine's owner.
Fairy
I feel like
called Moatia?
All right.
MMOATIA.
What MMO?
ATIA.
Moatia. Okay. Fairy Moatia, which is all right. I feel like we should absolutely stat out these war machines too.
Yes.
Oh my god. Like, I'm just like Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And it could absolutely be that like the arrow spitter, you have to have like one of its components is the staff of the Python. And like the 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 decanter of endless
Yeah.
wonders. The war machine will create troop lights out of any local wildlife that will fight on behalf of the machine's owner. Um, the the fairy must be tricked into attaching itself to the machine with glue. I feel like there's a couple of fun ways. Let's see. You can spread the glue on the control panel and convince the fairy to test it. You can color the glue and convince the fairy to finger paint on the machine.
I don't know if we can work it in, but the original trick was like tricking the fairy with like her favorite food, I think, or something. No,
Oh
we can do
yeah.
that. Maybe.
What's the fairy's favorite food?
It was like yams or something.
Okay, so let's see, which is in the western country. Blue.
Just leave a yam on the control panel, glue the yam there, and put glue on the yam, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Attaching itself to the machine. Glue, because paying for the machine. The fairy's favorite food is yams, so you can also cover a yam in glue and put it on the control panel. Right. Fabulous. So I feel like that's like you've got you've got a you've got a little side quest to go get the doll if you want like help, and then this one will be sort of simple, like the fairies just, it'll be a fun moment to like, do a cute little character voice with a fairy and an easy sort of thing.
Hey, how you doing? It's me, a fairy. Love yams.
Everybody loves yams. There's yeah, I think that's gonna be just glorious. Something super fabulous. And yeah, I think the thing that you'll do today, if the fairy is killed, then you'll face the guards. These guards can all cast the web spell. That'll be their thing.
Sure. I think default like pixies have something like, what is it? They can enchant their bows with a sleep spell or something.
Ooh,
like they have
yes.
something with that. I'm trying to remember what it is.
These guards can cast, let's just say the sleep spell. The sleep spell. No, the sleep spell. All right,
Bleep.
fabulous. And then there is, let's see, and then if the fairy is tricked, then you can get the war machine to Anansi's castle with no problem. Okay, cool. And I'm going to tab all these in so that we know that that is the fairy's castle.
Yep.
And then Anansi will then, and this one they just knock out the leopard, like pretty much, and put him in a set. Like, right, like there's the.
It's just a fight.
What is the leopard's war machine? Like, I feel like it would be something weird and crazy.
I don't need a war machine. I am big and buff and leopard.
Oh my god. Absolutely. There's there can be plans for a war machine, but the leopard keeps getting too drunk to actually build it.
Perfect, yeah. I mean, if we do that, we can make the leopard its own chapter at the end, and going back to just knock out the leopard. The final thing is a fight with the leopard.
Ooh. Okay, so 401, well, let's look at this. So chapter 1 should take, I'm going to say chapter 1 is probably going to take at least an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay.
You know, like between tricking everybody, the intro, tricking people, all that kind of stuff, right? Chapter 2 is just the fairy. That's probably going to be a pretty short chapter. That'll probably be like maybe a half an hour, something like that. So we could absolutely end it with, if you wanted this to be between 3 and 4 hours, you could absolutely end it with the leopard, and then that battle should take about an hour.
Okay.
And yeah, that makes sense, because if we do a full-on war machine battle, then that'll probably take several hours to get through. So, all right, cool. So then we will go to chapter 3 then. Hi, chapter 3. And it can be chapter 3 can be both the battle with the leopard and then actually gathering the stuff to build a war machine. So what would a leopard war machine be?
Good question. So my brain's going down this rabbit hole of leopard was caught in a pit fight. So maybe, the leopard is just like belligerent and doesn't want to finish the war machine. It's like, nah, I can do it on my own. I'm not like siblings.
It's fine. It's
Oh,
fine. You know what it... I'm sorry, I love this now. It could be a portable hole.
Yeah.
It could absolutely be a machine that fires like portable holes that have spikes in the bottom.
Lord. It's so annoying. That'd be the worst.
So it's suddenly there's just like a 10-foot hole with spikes in the bottom on the battlefield. Like
that was a spell in older editions. It's just called Create Pit. I missed that spell. Bring it back.
It's great. I loved that thing that you can like fold it up.
Yep.
And put it in your pocket, and then unfold it. And like I heard there were like times 3.5 where you would absolutely like climb inside the portable hole and then like, close it up from the top to hide yourself and then sort of open it back up and peek out later. Like, okay, fabulous. So, oh my God.
Wild.
I'm here for the fucking chaos. I am here for it. I'm just thinking about like if I was in that battle. Like,
I would hate that so much.
Right? I'm like, just suddenly random tree blight, poison arrows, and suddenly there's a hole. Like there's. I mean, the thing is that it totally makes sense because if there is, if they all sort of knew what the others' war things were, then you could like throw a portable hole in front of a treant, and the treant would fall in and then wouldn't be able to climb out. You could throw a portable hole in front of your own soldiers, and they all have like hooks or something with them, so that as the arrows start raining down, they can just climb in the hole and then climb
trench.
back out. Like absolutely. Oh my God. I want to have this battle, but it literally would make it that battle alone would be like 2 sessions. Like,
yeah, it would. But if the pits are, my brain is still stuck on the pit fight thing, because if you know where the fight's going to be, you can just sabotage the whole arena or something.
Yes. Well, it absolutely makes sense that like he's drunk. He's belligerent. He's got an arena inside the castle where he proves how strong he is against everyone else. Okay, Anansi will send the adventurers to the castle. What is the leopard's name?
I think it's Osebo. I think that's the right one.
Osobo.
Osebo.
Ebio. Osebo. Anansi will send the adventurers to the castle of the leopard Osebo. Leopard, that's how you spell that. Leopard will be completely hammered when the adventurers.
Sorry, an alarm on my phone went off right by the mic.
Nice, good.
I don't know if you picked that up or not.
Oh yeah. I was like, is there like a child screaming? Like, what's going on? Oops. Completely hammered when the adventurers arrive. Their war machine is supposed to fire portable holes onto the battlefield, trapping opponents.
Portable arenas.
But he has been too drunk to actually build it. Anansi will appear. So we've had him as servant and as a child. In this one, what should he appear as?
Oh, he could just be a normal like farmer or something. Just ending to something. Oh, it's an oasis. What are we? It's a desert with an oasis. What am I saying?
Yeah. He could be. He could be the announcer for the arena.
Oh, hell yeah!
Castle.
Perfect.
Will appear as the announcer for the arena that the leopard. That is not how you spell that. Leopard. Nancy will appear as the announcer for the arena that the leopard has set up in his castle to to prove his might with daily bouts. The adventurers must defeat the leopard in battle in the arena.
Oh, right. We mentioned before poisoning the alcohol.
Ooh, yeah.
Drugging
There's
his alcohol.
I think we're gonna have to make a stat block for Leopard, and I want it to be like, so if these guys are gonna be level 2 or 3, I want him to be like a CR 5 or 6.
That works,
right?
yeah.
That this is gonna be a real challenge. So if they don't, like essentially what I'd like is if this is a straight up TPK, if they do not do anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
To like drug, to like to fix things in the arena.
Also, I just realized it's in his castle. All these guys should have lair actions, I just realized.
Oh, yes. I love, so you can get rid of, like, we can figure out the lair actions, and then if you have, like, sabotage the lair actions, they'll hurt him instead of help him.
Gotcha. That works, yeah.
I think that'll be fabulous. So one of the lair actions, and absolutely the leopard can have levels in monk, a drunken master.
Perfect. Yeah.
Monk. The leopard is a level 5 drunken master monk. Okay. So that'll be an interesting thing. I feel like would that just be, I feel like you could straight up do like just reskin a tabaxi for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
Tabaxi
so
monk is, a classic combo.
Absolutely. See the leopard in battle in the arena. The leopard is level 5 drunken master monk. Each let's see. The leopard has 3 lair actions. Each of these can be sabotaged to hurt the leopard instead of helping. All right, fabulous. So we've got that. Let's say, all right, lair action 1 is, I feel like it would need to be give him alcohol. Like somebody throws a jug, like a jug of wine.
Perfect. Yeah, and then it's has some kind of what's the tranquilizer or something.
Yeah, jug of wine is tossed to leopard from the stands. Let's see. So it is standard is it will give him like an extra key point. Like he'll regain a key point from it.
That works, yeah.
Regain a key point. And sabotaged, gain the poisoned condition, because that gives him disadvantage on all his attack rolls. So that'll be, I feel like that's legit. All right, lair action 2. What would be the next lair action that he would have? Something with one of the portable holes.
Yeah, that works.
So let's say, let's see. So portable hole is tossed into the arena.
It's just normal
Standard.
fabric. It's just a carpet.
Fine. It's fine. Standard, let's say one adventurer falls into the 20-foot pit, taking 2d6 falling damage and having to spend the entire next round escaping. Sabotaged. I feel like what would that?
I was saying it's like because the portable hole, they just throw normal non-magical.
Well, the thing is that it needs to, if it's going to keep the theme, it needs to make sure that it's going to hurt the leopard.
Okay, you're right.
So it could be, so in that situation, you could convince the person throwing it, if it's sabotaged, to throw it at the leopard. Okay. Sabotaged, the hole is thrown at the leopard. Okay. And layer action 3. So we've got wine, we've got a portable hole, it all fits with this story. Layer action 3. Like something like bludgeoning with like the knife, getting thrown, like a bludgeoning, like
someone get me a knife.
I love it. There is layer action 3. The 3 knives are thrown from the stands, hitting with their hilt. So standard, 3 adventurers each take 1d4 bludgeoning damage and are, I want to say,
for the adventurers, it could be just the normal knife piercing thing.
Oh, that's true. Each take 1d4 bludgeoning damage or take 1d4 damage. And that can be it there. Then sabotaged.
It's stun him for a turn.
Yeah.
It's stunning striked.
All 3 knives are thrown at the leopard, stunning them for 1 round. All right, cool. So we've got the layer actions there. And so now we need, I guess we can put them in here with them. Layer action. So layer action 1, the jug of wine. Let's see. Hold on. Give me just a moment. Anansi, so what will Anansi need to help you out this time?
Good question. Maybe he just wants some of the wine for himself. He's never gotten to have it. Just for the leopard,
You have to like essentially like give him like a full like plate. Full, like give him a plate to take. So he needs to you have to go get him a jug of wine. You have to get him like a plate of like cheese, and then you have to get him a plate of meats. Like you have to make him a charcuterie platter.
Yeah. That works. Yeah.
Anansi will give you hints if you bring him 3 things. a jug of wine, a wheel of cheese, and a selection of fine water Davian. Fine water Davian salami. All are available to be stolen from other people in the castle. That'll leave it nice and open for the DM.
Gotcha.
There's all right. So you get your so for the jug of wine, to sabotage the wine, you must poison it before the fight. Anansi will tell you who holds the wine, or you may investigate the people in the arena to discover it for yourself.
Because Anansi would want some of the wine, the first one could be a freebie. It's like, I'll tell you where the wine is if you get me some, but everything else, you gotta pay up
on your own. So let me see. So this will be, so if he does all 3 layer actions, then essentially what it'll be is, because you can do a layer action once every 3, once around, but you can't do the same layer action twice in a row. So if all 3 are sabotaged, then at least every other round, the leopard will be taken out of the fight.
Right.
So that's great. That's perfect. All right. So we've got, all right, so the pit, I'd like to be 3 different things. So I think for the pit, you can just bribe them. You can bribe the pit thrower with money, or
if you got leftover food. Okay, that could be the knife thrower guy.
Yes. With money or cheese.
The 2 things that get me.
Absolutely. They are not you cannot intimidate or persuade them. And the knife throwers may all be persuaded to change allegiances.
An easy thing is like, hey, we've gotten 3 of the 4 warlords at this point, buddy.
They are susceptible to either persuasion or intimidation. That way everybody can get in there. All right, cool. So we've got all of those. Then the once the leopard is defeated, you may put them in a sack. For transport. You find the plans for the war machine, and having defeated their leader, the people of the castle will help you build it, and you may return to Anansi's castle. All right, so you've done all these things, you've beaten it. When you get back to the castle, I feel like then the resolutions are going to be when there's the confrontation with sorry, what was his name?
Nyame.
So yes,
you can
we
already,
will get,
for sake of time, you can already be at Anansi's castle.
absolutely. There is, thank you, Dungeon Glitch, for the community sub. That's fabulous. Here's and let's see, we have got, all right, so, and then you may travel directly to Nyame's castle. Where Anansi will announce his success.
Yep, his success.
That's right.
He did it.
All right, let's see. So, if you have brought only 2 war machines, then I feel then Nyame will banish Anansi, and the war will continue.
That works.
But Nyame will reward your ingenuity with a +1 to your wisdom. I feel like that's fine. Let's see. If you have brought all 3 war machines, but have not brought the 4 princes, what would that be? Then Anansi will take the war machines and end the civil war by force. Giving you a +1 to your wisdom. From his little jar in the oasis. If you have brought all 3 war machines and all 4 princes, Anansi will be declared the ruler of the country by Nyame. You, Anansi will announce that Anansi will make this proclamation. Because he likes calling people stupid.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You are all idiots. All I wanted was my damned oasis back so I could get my jar that holds all the wisdom in the frickin' world. All the wisdom in the frickin' world. So I'm going to leave you with a brutally war-torn land and laugh at your stupidity from afar. Adventurers, you have served me well, and for that I shall give you the following gifts. He pulls the python out of the machine and turns it into a staff of the python.
Poor guy.
Right. There it is. A fabulous staff. A jar of endless hornets.
There have endless bees.
See, so we've got a decanter of endless bees. He reaches into the machine and creates this item. Then we've got the the ferry. We've got the ferry. What do we decide?
You said something about like a wand of web, or all in normal D&D, all pixies have like sleep and like minor image, I think.
Yeah. Oh, but their machine creates tree blights. So
right. Okay.
isn't there a staff that turns into a tree?
I don't know, but there definitely is a really kind of bad magic item where if you plant a shrub in it, it'll be an awakened shrub. It's just a pot that awakens a shrub.
Oh my god.
That's it.
The pot of the awakened.
Like that fully exists somewhere. I forget what it's called, but it's a real item.
He breaks down the war machine to create this. And the tiger, I feel like that one would be like,
Just turn him into a figurine of wondrous power.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. And
just a leopard statue of the guy who's assy beat.
A pet leopard. He pulls out a figurine of wondrous power. In summation, you have been the only worthwhile people in this whole kingdom. So you shall always have my blessings. You may have my castle and everything within it. And I bless you with true wisdom. The adventurers get a +2 to wisdom. All right, fabulous.
As a note for the castle, there's got to be, like, if they hadn't put together that the people they met were Anansi, there's got to be something at the end to make sure they know.
Yeah.
So I was thinking just like a ring or like a wand of like a minor illusion or something, and just pictures of all the people I met.
Yes. Okay, so when they get to the castle, they may search it. They find the treasury.
There's something just called like the Hat of Illusions to turn into other people, I think.
Yes, the Hat of Disguise. Is it the Hat of Disguise Self or the Hat of
something like that? Yeah.
They find the treasury empty except for 1 gold piece for each adventurer and a scroll of disguise self with pictures of the child, with pictures of the old man at the camp, the servant, the child, and the announcer. As they discover these things, the walls of the castle turn to sand, and the entire thing blows away, revealing a tiny thatched hut filled with spider webs. All right, so let's look at this adventure. So we've got, you appear, there's a civil war, you gotta fix it. There's, all right, so you take out 2 people in the first one, you trick a whole bunch of people. In the second chapter, you then trick the fairy, which is going to be the short chapter. Chapter 3, you actually fight the leopard. And then in the sort of epilogue, you get to meet Inyame, and Anansi calls everyone stupid.
Yep.
I feel like
fully in character.
Absolutely. That is absolutely how that's supposed to go. All right, cool. So let's look at adventure hooks.
Okay.
Adventures can be summoned by Anansi. Adventures can be traveling and get waylaid by the Civil War. What's a good one?
I mean, a DM could also always just use this as like a random side quest between like traveling somewhere. Yeah.
Random side.
You gotta cross a desert. Oh, look
Right.
what we found along the way. Look at that. Wild.
All right. And important people are going to be Anansi, Anansi's, so Aso, Anansi's wife. What's the python's name? The python is Onini.
Onini. That's what it was.
Onini,
Osini's something different.
the python. Where are they? The Moboro hornets. What's the fairy's name? Let's see. The fairy is Moatia. The fairy. And the leopard is Osebo.
There it is.
And Osebo, the leopard, and a Nyame, the druid. Okay, cool. So I am super excited about this.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be super fabulous. And what I'll do is I will send you a list of things and see whether you want to create them or you want us to create them.
Okay.
Either way is fine. When it comes to things like the Decanter of Endless Bees, like there's just stuff like that. Which I think is going to be such a delightful thing. All right, so now the final thing is art. So for the cover, what do you want the cover to be?
Well, like I mentioned before, there was a point where I was going to do a Nazi themed adventure guide. And the artwork behind me and that we're using for the stream, that was what was going to be the cover.
Love it.
And so we could use that as the storyteller around the campfire version of Anansi if we wanted to, or like at least use this as a basis for the artist we get for this.
Okay, fabulous.
So the cover could literally be this, or a redrawing of this or something.
Sure. Well, it's like if you want to specifically use that as a cover, then we can do a couple of extra things inside.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is cover already done. Inside. Side
note, shout out to Laser Lasley for this artwork.
Oh, fabulous. Yay, I love it. Oh, DM Charlie, thank you. I will always sign for ginger beer. Absolutely, I will always sign for that. 100% I'm here for it. There is, okay, so let's look. So there's a couple things. Let's say, because we're not doing a cover, we can probably do like 4 internal pieces instead of just the 2. It might be 3. It'll just depend on the cost from the artist. So let's get 3 that we want and then a wish. Like if we can get the 4th, great.
Ooh, good question.
I feel like 1 should absolutely be Anansi somewhere around the campfire, because I think that is that's just an iconic image of the storyteller.
Yeah.
Anansi as an old man around a campfire. We could do a thing, shadows from fire. Create the outline of a spider.
Mm.
What else? What other things need to be represented in here?
I mean, do we need artwork of the princes? I don't know.
We could probably do if you want to do a total of 3, then we could probably do Anansi around the campfire, and then the python and the hornets, and then the fairy and the leopard.
That would work, yeah.
All right, so let's see, python and hornets, and fairy and leopard. One day I'm gonna learn how to spell leopard right.
Leopard.
I have spelled every incorrect spelling that you could possibly have of leopard I have had today. So, all right, so we've got those 3, and then let's do one more if possible. Do we want... Oh my God, what about the castle turning into sand?
Oh, that's cool.
With the hut underneath.
Yep, that works.
Castle blowing away as sand with a hut in its place. I do love that. I think that'll be a fabulous image too. That'll just be something fun, like that looks fabulous. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you so much. How are you feeling? Are you excited that we just wrote a whole adventure?
This is cool. This is super exciting. Yeah.
So yay, I'm very excited. Well, the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming is going to pay for all the art to get taken care of and for all of the layout and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then we're going to hand it back to you, and you're going to have a whole adventure that's just your very own that you can
so cool.
Send out to the world.
Thank you. This is really cool. I appreciate it so much.
Oh yeah, of course. And why don't you tell everybody out there, hey, where can we find Call Me They?
Howdy, hey, I am Call Me They. You can find me on Twitter under the same tag. I am working on getting the tag for YouTube. I make 5th edition content, subclasses. I've reached into races. I've done a skosh of magic items. And also, I'm trying to get back into making videos about a series called Backstory and Chill, about character inspiration for DMs and players alike, with some builds to go along with it. And just a good time with speed paints and narration and music. It feels so good to have been here. My favorite thing to be is a storyteller, and I've been trying really hard to reconnect with this part of my culture that I have got to experience. So this has been a fun experience. I hope to do it again.
Yay! I love it. And I think that's a huge part of what we're doing here, is not only creating a space for people who are already in the know, but creating a space for people who are journeying to find their own cultures again. I think that's a hugely important part of decolonizing things, is actually being able to find your roots. So yeah. Thank you so much for helping us with that. I'm gonna throw up the donate link again in case people want to throw a couple bucks to the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming. There is, and we've got a fabulous set of dice to give away, don't we? So everybody please hit !raffle if you would like some fabulous dice from Phoenix Dice. They are glorious. Now, while people are doing that for the next couple of seconds, I would like to say thank you everybody in chat for being glorious. Thank you for coming and hanging out and supporting us. There's very little that is more important than your time. So I absolutely appreciate the fact that you are giving your time to us. That is absolutely fabulous of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think we are going to close down the raffle. And we're going to give away some dice! Yay! And all the dice goblins out there that need something fabulous. For me personally, my new favorite set, because Phoenix Dice does everything based on monsters from the Monster Manual. My personal favorite of their new dice is the Djinn, which is this beautiful light blue crystal die with all gold lettering and all these gold flakes inside. It's beautiful. I want it so bad. So let's see who our winner is today. Okay, we need to draw that again because that's me. I put in exclamation point raffle just to show people. I mean, I do want those Djinn dice, but I'm not going to rob somebody else of dice. Yedonila, you have won a set of fabulous dice. Please, if you are on Discord, send me a note. If you are not on Discord, please just whisper to me here on Twitch, and I will get in touch with you, and we will get you some fabulous dice. Yay! Thank you all again, and we are going to go raid someone fabulous. Who are we going to raid that's fabulous? Who's up now? Doing fabulous things. You know what Roll Together is? They're actually the headliners of the Rolling Together stream team. So let's go say hi to them and let them know all the craziness that we've been doing. I think that's important. I think it's important to let people know what kind of craziness you've been doing. And then they are probably going to shortly raid into Sensei Suplex so you can see actual play 2 today. There's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do. So thank you. Mwah! And we will see you next time.